Hey Bulldogs, I'm Carmen Sotlet and welcome back to Code Blue News. As the year comes to an end, the Oxford Dictionary announces its word of the year. Johan brings us more about the use of slang in daily conversation.
On his visit to LSU, Livy rizzed him up. Livy even hugged Baby Gronk. He might be the new Riz King.
I'm loving his ride, smooth like a beamer.
Do students in 2023 have W-Riz? Oxford seems to think so. On December 4th, 2023, it was announced that the Oxford University Press's word of the year was Riz.
Yeah, I heard it last year when a student mentioned it, and I said, oh, that sounds, where is that coming from? She goes, oh, it actually comes from the word charisma.
Beating out words like prompt, swifty, and situationship, Riz is just one example of how the English language is being affected by slang.
I have heard the term many, many times, and when it comes up, I make sure I reach out to make sure my students know that they do not have game at their age, and that pretty much shuts it down.
I haven't seen examples of the word Riz. I think examples of other slang might be, instead of calling someone brother or bro, it becomes more like brah.
Well, from a psychology perspective, a lot of students use it as a way of, being autonomous from, a sense of autonomy from parents, or from adults. You're creating your own little kind of separate culture. That includes music, language, the way you interact with each other. So over time, you have different words that are, I would say hip or fresh, which are both outdated kind of terms.
At first, it may seem like there's a disconnect between student and teacher lingo. There's definitely more to everyday slang than meets the eye.
Well, as a history teacher, I think slang absolutely has a place in the classroom. You can study slang over time and, understand how people lived and why they spoke a certain way.
You have to understand the role of history, especially in American language and culture. I know we speak English in America, but a lot of our language comes from different variations of other countries and other cultures.
It can definitely have a place in the classroom. It is always important that the students know what the correct form of these words are and how they're used in the classroom.
It's a big part of who people are and how they live and how they communicate with one another. So even though we don't talk about it much in this class when we're studying the early American government, I absolutely think there's a place in the classroom for it.
As shown throughout many decades, Riz is just another example of a phenomenon that countless generations have been a part of. But for now, I'm Johan Rodriguez Vieira, reporting for Code Blue Now, and back to you in the studio.
I have definitely heard the word Riz around the hallways at school. Seeing the next generation come together and be influential enough to change the dictionary is unbelievable. Another place where teens can come together is at the Jubilee Church. Calvin shows us an inside scoop.
1500 Blue Hill Ave might not mean something to many, but Friday nights at this church mean something special for teens in Holbrook and Mattapan alike.
It's fun. It's not just a boring church service. It's more of an uplifting, fun environment with people your age that are all trying to do the same thing.
Citywide is a place where, middle schoolers, teenagers, young adults can come in and just learn to have fun in church. Every single Friday we come in the room and we say that a quiet church is a dead church and a loud church is a live church. And it's just, we set up an atmosphere that's conducive for people to just get loud, get rowdy, and have fun.
Changed my life, honestly. You know what I mean? From being a kid who just played basketball and roamed the streets with my friends, it really just gave me a different perspective on life, It kind of like brightened the light that was already inside of me.
I feel like the setting that they provide for kids at Citywide is a place where people don't feel judged. Everything is accepted. People are there to help you. It feels like a big family. Even when it's your first time being there, they welcome you with open arms and with love and care.
One thing that stood out to me at Citywide was the first time that I went, everyone welcomed me with open arms, no matter if they knew me or not. So it made me feel better about being in a new environment.
The family we have here, Like, you can really come to any of the leaders and they'll understand, or at least try to understand what you're going through. You know what I mean? Because they too understand that nobody's perfect.
I think Citywide creates a safe space for like everyone, including me, because I kind of felt like I didn't have a place to go to express myself. So when I go to Citywide, it kind of feels good to just like be myself and not feel judged by anyone.
Citywide is a completely judgment-free zone where it's like we're trying to help improve people's lives. And so in order for there to be improvement, obviously there's something that needs to be improved upon. But what makes it different is just we have a different culture here.
Citywide, led by their pastor, feel like they shouldn't be overlooked as youth in this generation.
I don't really believe in a lost generation because of what I see every Friday.
A lot of the time, Christianity is viewed as a negative thing, and I feel like if you go to Citywide on Friday nights, that's something that is not there.
I think that church is not a place that people should like look down on or like look at anyone different because they go to church.
I feel like if you were to see what goes on in this building on Friday nights, you would see that it's more than just a lost generation. It's not just a bunch of kids on TikTok or a bunch of kids just listening to secular music or just partying. Like, there's a lot of kids out here who's really chasing after their purpose.
I would say it's important for the next generation to find a community like this or find spaces like this because you're really not supposed to do life by yourself. And so finding like-minded people that are going towards the same thing as you, it'll help you reach your goals, your destiny, whatever you're striving for. When there's people around you that are pushing for that as well, then it's really hard for you to fail.
You know, just find a home. It doesn't have to be Citywide. It doesn't, you know, you don't have to come on a Friday, but just find some place that you can call home and you can really enjoy the presence of God there.
Well, y'all know where to find me for tonight. But for now, I'm Kelvin Mungar, reporting for Code Blue Now. Back to you in the studio.
It's always great to get involved in your community. Throughout the month of December, Code Blue has had a multitude of guest correspondence reporters. One of these great reporters brings us a story on covert ableism.
So I was at the pool the other day for a swim lesson, and I noticed another girl with Down syndrome entering the pool as well for a swim lesson. So as the girl with Down syndrome started entering the pool, one of the swimming instructors started freaking out and told the other swimming instructor, "Sped kids scare me," and started backing away. Now, I was disappointed for a few reasons. One, not only am I a sped kid myself, but two, that comment was pretty ableist. But what does ableism mean anyway?
The definition of ableism is discrimination in favor of the able-bodied, meaning that people with physical and mental disabilities can face discrimination. The topic that we're talking about, stereotypes and jokes. The root cause for the majority of stereotypes, as well as jokes, is the saying, neurodivergence is a disease and needs to be cured. This is a very problematic saying because neurodivergence is not a disease, nor can it be cured. On average, 15 to 20% of U.S. citizens are neurodivergent. Although this may seem like a small number, there are hundreds of people in this school, including students and staff. But what is neurodivergency?
It's probably not necessarily typical, like I said, neurodivergency. I am high-functioning autistic, so I have a bunch of sensory issues along with some social. It's clear that, like, a lot of the time people with physical disabilities have issues and stuff like that. A lot of the mental disabilities, I feel that, especially in my case, and I can't say this for everybody. In my case, I am able to present normal, and so a lot of the issues I face is actually passive.
The term neurodivergent is an umbrella term, meaning that although it is one term, there are multiple categories underneath that term. Not only can ableism happen to anyone on the spectrum, it can happen at any age as well. For example, Mrs. Welch's son, Jeremy.
He has a few challenges. One, academically, he's much lower. He struggles a lot more with his schoolwork. He's below grade level with reading and math. I think also making friends. I think a lot of times people feel that kids or adults on the spectrum aren't social. They are. They just may sometimes struggle in social situations. So, I always urge people it's okay for you to lead the conversation because a lot of times, they really do need that.
The only thing that I need is a few extra supports, whether or not I need to take a break in class to go sit in a quiet room for a few minutes, or whether I need to type something instead of handwrite it. Like, that's all I need. I'm not less capable because of who I am or what I was born with.
Reporting for Code Blue Now, I'm Shayla Blair. And back to you in the studio.
It's amazing to see how far technology has come and how devices like computers can really change the lives of certain individuals. Another thing that has come so far is our Code Blue News program. As we hit the 200th episode of CBN in December, Chuck gives us a look back.
My name is Joey.
What grade are you in?
I am in the 8th grade.
In America today, an estimated 1.3% of Americans struggle with common communication skills. However, due to the rise of technology, a new device has helped millions of students all over the country find their voice.
Augmentative and alternative communication, and it's helping people communicate who might not be able to verbalize. It can be simple, like a piece of paper with icons that people can point to, or it can be what we call high-tech more, which can be on a tablet through a different system that kids can use or adults can use as well. It helps them communicate. It helps them express what they need, can socialize in all different means. It gives them a voice.
Augmentative and alternative communication devices, more commonly known as AAC devices, have many unique features which meet the individual needs of each and every single student who utilize these tools for everyday life.
For students might have some trouble with speaking or might have trouble using expanded sentences, they can use the device to provide answers. If they have trouble finding a word, there's icons, so they can find the icon and that can give them their word. Do that in class. It helps them socialize with people. It helps them get their needs met, so it's just their voice if they might not have the ability to do it sometimes with other ways. Sometimes it's hard to learn, so sometimes they need a lot of practice, and there might be some frustration, but usually there's better outcomes, so it's great for them to have their voice.
Mrs. Mahoney has taken initiative in assisting students utilize these AAC devices.
I've been here for 12 years, and as soon as I got here, we've always had kids who've needed some AAC help, sometimes, like I said, the low tech, or sometimes the high tech. So I've been kind of doing that since I've gotten here. I can help them program it, I can help them set it up, I can make it unique to what they need, design so that it's how they're capable of using it, or what they need and when they need it. It's a great means to help people communicate and, have conversations with people, A lot of kids are happy to communicate and have conversations, and it just, is a good means for them.
The use of AAC devices appears to be a step in the right direction for all students in need to use their voice. For Code Blue Now, I'm Jordan Chaffee, and back to you in the studio.
It's amazing to see how far technology has come and how devices like computers can really change the lives of certain individuals. Another thing that has come so far is our Code Blue News program. As we hit the 200th episode of CBN in December, Chuck gives us a look back.
Hey Bulldogs, I'm Chuck Lurossi, the executive producer for Code Blue Now. Welcome to the 200th episode look back. I've been here since the very beginning, like the very, very beginning, like when it was super embarrassing content.
How come you cook bacon but bake cookies?
Cookie good. Yes.
And then I joined season 1 in 7th grade, where that group was kind of trying to find their own path.
Hey Bulldogs, I'm Aiden Kelly, and it is good to be back.
And I'm Kate.
Hey everyone, it's Aiden Kelly. I just want to say I am over the moon and extraordinarily proud of everybody for continuing Code Blue and getting to 200 episodes. It was like the beginning of my senior year of high school. We had no plan. It was the first time we had really ever done something like this. Me and Zach had talked about it, ad nauseum throughout the years and being like, let's do a news thing, let's do this, let's do that, because of the club that started.
Season 2 and 3 kind of brought the journalism side of things into it. This was super important to kind of the entire turn that we had here, where it was a turnover from nothing but entertainment for 3 straight segments into legitimate news packages. It was super important for season 2 and 3 to kind of pick that up and become its own brand.
So for the ill-informed, season 1 and season 2 had very different vibes. Season 2 is very similar to the Code Blue that you see today. Season 1 was very much take a camera, get out there and have some fun. Respect to those guys, they did what they did. It was the beginning, but season 2, we truly had like a group that wanted to make news type stuff. It was like absolute peak of life. We just went out every single day with the stupidest possible ideas, and then we would just randomly make a segment about like COVID or Kobe dying. Like, it was very mixed, but it worked.
Season 4 and Season 5 saw a change in crew. I saw a change in new faces and new ideas coming to the program. They were creating legitimate stories, and we got to see new perspectives on journalism and new perspectives when it came to the entertainment side of things that we do. In Season 5 and Season 6, I was finally cemented as the executive producer, and in Season 5, I was with Kai Forbes. I finally got to be a part of this when I was kind of on the outside looking in as I was helping my brother and helping everybody else in those classes create those stories. To me, it was super important as a creator and also as an executive producer to take little things from each season, from each person, from each crew, and kind of mold them into the person that I am today. And I also wanted to thank the Season 6 crew for being absolutely amazing when it comes to the day-to-days, creating amazing packages. It just feels like we're truly a family, and the 200th episode really makes me remember that. For Code Blue Now, I'm Chuck Luarasi. Back to you in the studio.
I'm excited to see what comes next for our program. That wraps up this month. For Code Blue News, I'm Carmen Sotlet reporting.